Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Learn. And today's topic is algebra, within which we're going to be looking at simultaneous equations, also known as systems of equations. Simultaneous equations or systems of equations can be solved using three ways: substitution, the elimination method, and graphing. What's the point of using any of these methods? For example, we have two equations. One is 3x plus 5y equals 24, and the other one x plus 7y equals 56. Now, if I want to find out what's the value of x, if it was just a normal equation where one of the variables was missing and I would have to find the answer for that, then I would just isolate it and simply find it out. But if you look at this one, the first equation, 3x plus 5y, which means that there are two different variables that are unknown. So when we have something like this, when two variables are unknown, we cannot just simply solve it using the basic linear equation solving method. So for that, we need another equation as well. Now these two equations, both of them have an x and a y. So we can use the method either substitution, elimination, or graphing to find x and y both using these two equations. For today's lesson, we're going to be dealing with substitution. Now, substitution basically means that you need to substitute. You need to put one thing in place of the other. Now, let's suppose these two equations, I'm going to rename this one. So the first one I'm just going to write down as equation number 1, and the second one is going to be equation number 2. Now, in order to decide for substitution, you need to see that which equation looks a bit simpler. By simpler, I mean that it should be having a variable that is standing alone, or it does not have a numerical value with it, which means that if I look at this one, this is a 3x. The variable x is attached with a 3. So doesn't seem like a good option. The second one, 5y. Again, the y is attached with the 5, does not really look good. It doesn't look that simple. Now we're going to move on to the second equation. It says x plus 7y. Now here, this x is standing alone. It does not have a numerical value with it. So this one looks a little simpler. And 7y, again, y is attached with a 7. So when we have a situation like this, that if the variables have numbers attached with them, then it's always better to not use substitution. Substitution only is beneficial when you have a variable, either x or y or whichever letter, and it does not have a numerical value. Then it becomes a little easier to solve. Now, once I have decided that which variable does not have a number and which equation is that, for example, the variable that I have decided is x, and it's from equation number 2. Now, once I decide and once I figure out that x is the variable that I need to isolate, for substitution, you need to isolate one of the variable. So I'm going to be picking up the variable that does not have a number attached with it. So I'm picking up x. Now, in order to make substitution work, I need to isolate the x, or I need to make x the subject. And for making x the subject, I need to take everything attached with the x to the other side. So x plus 7y equals 56. If I want to make x the subject, then I'm going to write x equals 7y goes to the other side. 7y is positive here. When it goes to the other side, it turns into negative. So I have x equals 56 minus 7y. Now this is my equation, my rearranged equation in terms of x. X equals 56 minus 7y. Now, this is one step completed. Now, the second step is that you need to now actually substitute. Now, what do I substitute and where do I substitute? Now that I've already used my second equation, this equation is now out of sight. Now, you don't have to do anything with this second equation. Now, you have to play around with the first equation. And what do I exactly have to do is that I need to substitute this stuff inside my first equation. By substituting, I mean that this here, the x is basically the one that is being isolated. So the x of the first equation needs to be substituted. And substituted by what? By the stuff that I've got here, 56 minus 7y. Now the equation says 3x plus 5y equals 24. And I already know that x is equal to 56 minus 7y. So this x gets replaced with 56 minus 7y so that I have all y's in one single equation and then I can keep on solving. So in place of my x now, I'm going to replace my x with 56 minus 7y plus 5y and 24. They just come the way they are written. 5y, 24, 3, everything just stays where it is. Only this x is being substituted with the values that I figured out in the first one. Now I have 3, 56, 7y, and then plus 5 equals 24. Now I have to do 3 times 56. So 3 times 56 gives me 168. I'm going to write 168 minus 3 times negative 7. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21y plus this 5y just comes down the way it is equals to 24. Now once I have all of that, now as you can see 21y and 5y, they're common, they are like terms to each other, and 168 and 24 are like terms to each other. So first thing I'm going to do 21y and 5 minus 21y plus 5 is going to give me 16, negative 16. So negative 16y, and there's a 168 already there, plus 168 equals 24. Now that my y is negative, it's just better option to take it to the other side so it turns into positive. And 24, because it's a number, it should be coming to the number, that is 168 and 24 are like terms, so we can take 24 to the other side. Now 16 is negative here. When it goes to the other side, it turns into positive, and 24 is positive here. When it goes to the other side, turns negative. So I'm going to write 168 minus 24. 24 taken to the other side turns negative. So 168 minus 24, and negative 16y, when it goes to the other side, it turns into positive 16y. And I have to check 168 minus 24. That gives me 144 equals 16y. Now I have to isolate the y and check out what the answer is going to be. 16 is in multiplication with the y, goes to the other side, turns into division. So I have 144 divided by 16, which gives me 9. Therefore, my y is equal to 9. That's how I figure out. Once you know which variable to substitute, and the next step is you have to substitute that, and you will get a one single linear equation, and then you just solve the like terms and figure out one of your values, that is 9. But here it does not end. You have to also figure out what's the value of x, because the point of systems of equations is that you need to find the values for both the variables given. Either is x, y, either it's a, b, c, d, whatever it is, you need to find out the values for all the variables involved. Now that I've got y equals 9, I need to put this y equals 9 either in equation number 1, or you can put it in equation number 2, or you can put it in the equation that you have already rearranged. Wherever you put that value of y, you are going to be getting the same answer. You can try that out and see that if you're getting the same answer. For now, I'm going to be picking out the equation that I have rearranged because it's easier. I just have to simply put y value here and then just figure out my answer. So if I have x equals 56 minus 7y, this y now I know is 9. So I'm just going to replace it. So 56 minus 7 times y, that is 7 times 9. And 7 times 9 gives me 63. So x is equal to 56 minus 63. And if you figure that out, if you try what is 56 minus 63, so it gives me negative 7. So x equals negative 7. Now either you can write it down just simply x equals negative 7 and y equals 9, or most of the time they ask in coordinate form. So what is the coordinate form? There's an x, y, and there's a bracket and a comma. So always the first value is your x. So since my x is negative 7, I'm going to write negative 7, comma, the y value, that is positive 9. So this is going to be my answer, either negative 7, 9, or I can just write it in this way, whatever they ask you. But this is how you solve it. You first of all figure out which equation to use. You have to, for substitution, just go ahead with an equation where a variable is alone, it does not have any number attached with it. Once you figure that out, just isolate it and get a one single equation, and then substitute that into the first equation or second equation, whatever, it depends on what you're taking, the first or the second. And then once you substitute, you get one single variable, and You get one single variable equation, and then you solve it just using the basic algebra method of solving linear equation, just like terms goes with like terms, unlike with unlike. And then you solve it, find one answer, and then replace your equations with that answer, so you are going to get the second answer. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, any confusions, you can drop them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching Easy Learn. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.